What's up guys, Lou here, and I'm very excited to bring to you some beautiful visuals as well as detailed specs on the latest Nexus devices that Google is set to launch this holiday season. The visuals are courtesy of TheVerge.com. Let's not waste any more time. Here are the specs. So the Nexus 4 is the phone. It's going to be Google's latest phone. As you can see here, I'm reading the notes off Google's last phone, which is the Galaxy Nexus. Always been a big fan of Nexus devices. The new one is going to be packing a slightly larger screen, a 4.7-inch IPS display. IPS obviously means you're going to get those beautiful wide viewing angles. They make great displays for phones. It's going to be packing a resolution of 1280 by 768 for an effective pixel per inch count of 320. A Snapdragon S4 quad-core CPU is on board, 2 gigs of RAM, NFC. It's made by LG, in case you didn't know. Even though it is a Google-branded device, they always partner up with other companies to get the hardware solution and the hardware design. It's always a two-way street with Google and the brand that they choose to work with on the Nexus device. It's got Android 4.2 built in, which is going to give some improvements over the previous 4.1, which is what we're on right now, including some new gestures to access quick settings. You can now scroll down, swipe down with 2 fingers where you normally access your notifications. That's going to bring you right into settings. That's an area that I access all the time, so that's a really cool feature for me. It's got an improved camera as well. You're now going to get 8 megapixels on the back, and you're also going to get a really cool new piece of technology called Photosphere, which is a 3D sort of street view like availability, so you could take pictures that are essentially three-dimensional. It's like more than a panorama, if you will. It's also got a 1.3 megapixel forward-facing camera that's going to be used, of course, for conferencing, etc. There are also improvements to Google Now. Some other cool things, you're getting Gorilla Glass 2 on both the front and back. So if you know anything about Gorilla Glass, it's super stupid strong. It's an incredible material, and it's also very elegant. So the phone is going to have glass on the back and glass on the front. You've got an inductive charging dock. Yes, I always love these things. I get very excited for these things. No cables, no more plugging in a micro USB. If you choose to go with the inductive charging dock, you just drop your phone on top of it and you'll be good to go. You'll be rolling. It's also got a micro HDMI port, and here is the most impressive spec. I know I've run through a bunch here. The most impressive spec is the fact that this thing is retailing completely unlocked with no contract for $300. That's right, $300. Which, you know, is a crazy figure for something packing these specs, and especially for a guy like me who's always into these Google devices with the pure Google experience. So $300 is going to get you 8 gigabytes on board of storage, and then $350 is going to get you 16 gigabytes. Big story here, unlocked, no contract. That's amazing. All right, so that was a little bit long-winded, but let's jump into the next device, the Nexus 10, which is their answer to the iPad. Obviously, the Nexus 10 is packing an incredible resolution. In fact, the highest resolution screen of any tablet at the moment. It's 2560 by 1600 for an effective PPI of 300. When you compare that to something like the iPad, which gives you 264 PPI, that's really hard to believe, because if you've ever seen the latest gen iPad, you know that display is incredibly beautiful and incredibly pixel dense. But this one is more pixel dense, giving you pretty much the resolution you'd expect from print at 300 PPI. It's only 8.9 millimeters thin and 603 grams. They're going to give you 9 hours of continuous video playback at least. That's the claim at the moment. I'll be testing that out in the future after I unbox and actually feature the product on the channel, which you know I'll be doing. It also gets 500 hours of standby. You're going to get an improved rear-facing camera at 8 megapixels, 1.9 megapixel front-facing cam. It's made by Samsung, so it does pull some of the design aesthetic from the Galaxy Note and Galaxy Tab series, including 2 forward-facing stereo speakers, which I'm a huge fan of. I think all tablets should have forward-facing speakers for obvious reasons. This one will. It's only a dual-core processor, which was a little interesting to me. 2 gigs of RAM, NFC, micro HDMI on board as well. It's going to start at $400 for 16 gigs or $500 for 32 gigs. So, you know, competitive price points. They still do have the Nexus 7 tablet at $199. So they're competing in a number of different price points now. And A very important piece of information, these are both going to ship November the 13th, so get yourself ready. Click that subscribe button up above if you're not subscribed yet, so you're, in touch with all the information regarding the Nexus launch of these two products here, and also my eventual unboxing, review. All the information you're going to need is going to be right here on Unbox Therapy, so hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. And if you're excited for these products, make sure to slam that like button down below to show your appreciation and support for Google's Nexus project, or even if you're just a fan of technology in general. All right, guys, thanks as always for watching. I'll catch you on the next episode. Later.